Hey guys, Uncle Ray, welcome to another episode of the Crypto Bellwether. I don't always tell you what you want to hear, but I tell you what you need to hear to make informed decisions. And guys, you need to hear this video. Watch the entire video. It is going to give you a lot of alpha. And this is the type of information no one likes to talk about because, quite frankly, it doesn't grow your channel. But that is a byproduct of this channel. You know, if I grow this channel to an immense amount of subscribers, that would be wonderful. But I'm here to help people as much as I can. I have a financial background. I have a good understanding of how the world works. And I've been an investor for a long time. And realistically, even though this is a brand new asset class, a lot of it is very similar to what we've already seen before. And that's one good thing about being older. You've been around, you've seen a lot, and you know, the product may have changed, but the game hasn't. And I've said from day one on this channel that unfortunately, Wall Street, the central banks, and the governments, primarily the U.S. government, pick winners and losers. And that is definitely the case in crypto, in my opinion. And it's proven itself that that thesis is coming true every single day. But one thing you don't see in crypto is what are those three entities up to? For the most part, no one does that type of research. I do. And I do my research for me, and I share with my community. And I don't have to be right, but I want to be correct in my thinking. That being said, this video may not make you a ton of money, but it will save you a ton of money. And I really think it will help you be successful in this bull run. So hit that like button. Let's dive into it. Now, what got me thinking about this video and the reason I made it was I was talking to a developer, and he mentioned something to me about the old blue chips. And he just went off and said, you know, people are out of their mind. You know, if they're not investing in like Bitcoin, you know, BNB, Ethereum, maybe Solana, anything outside of that, and I'm sure there's other exceptions, he goes, they're not going to make a new all-time high. Know your history. Well, he's been in the market for about 7 or 8 years, and I've only been in the market like 2.5 years. So I decided to go back and see if, you know, HODLing has any place in crypto whatsoever. And I truly believe it doesn't. But it's your money, guys. But hear me out. I'm going to lay out some information for you, and hopefully it will get you to at least think long and hard about not taking profits in this bull run. Because I personally invest bull run to bull run. And outside of Bitcoin, I will not own any crypto when this bull run is all said and done. And every successful investor I've met over my 2.5 years, which has been a lot of them, that have made a lot of money, millions, life-changing money, outside of Bitcoin and Ethereum, every single one of them has taken profits. And the big boys that I know, that a few that I have access to, they are already planning on taking some profits in the big movers like Solana. And these guys have like millions and millions and millions of dollars for whatever that's worth. Now anyway, so let's think about something, guys. If you were fortunate enough to be in the bull run in like 2017 and 18, man, if hopefully you took profits, and if you did, you probably took an immense amount of profits in the last bull run, and you're probably doing well in this bull run. But let's think about the people that hodl. Here's a list on your screen of the top 25 tokens in 2017-18 bull run. Now, out of the top 100, now think about this, guys. These are facts. And those are your safest bets. If you're not in the top 100 in 2017, you probably don't exist today of any substance at all. But let's say you bought the top 25 tokens in 2017 and you're just going to hold because you think that crypto is like stocks, and they are not. And we'll dive into that in a little bit, and I'm going to talk to you about the 2000.com bubble, which I believe this is like deja vu for someone like me. Anyway, so yes, if you would have held Bitcoin and Ethereum, you'd be doing extremely well. And that is a good HODL. Now, I still personally will not HODL Ethereum past this bull run. And I do HODL Bitcoin. I believe, like Michael Saylor says, don't sell your Bitcoin. But now let's look at this list, guys. If you would have held the top 25 tokens in 2017 and 18, and they're the most safe, and they're going to change the world, 20 out of the 25 did not make a new all-time high. And most of them are not even close to making an all-time high in this bull run. And the odds are, outside of a very few exceptions, they're not going to make another all-time high in the future. And I'm going to explain why that's the case in a minute, so stay with me. But let's look at it. Bitcoin made a new all-time high. XRP went from the number 2 token to number 7 or 8 right now, did not make an all-time high. Now, a lot of people would say, hey, well, that was the lawsuit. Well, that proves the point of how risky it is, right? So if you hold a token, any token, every day there's regulation risk. There's obsolescence risk. This is just technology. Mr. Wonderful in the Shark Tank said, look, you got to look at cryptos like startup software companies. It's just software and technology. And that is a great way to look at it. And as this technology progresses, it gets better and better and better. And some of those wonderful technologies that were changing the world 7 years ago are not even hardly relevant now, for whatever that's worth. So Ethereum, you'd be doing well. Bitcoin Cash did not make a new all-time high. ADA did make an all-time high, so there's hope for ADA, in my opinion, for this bull run. XEM didn't make an all-time high. XLM didn't make an all-time high. IOTA didn't make an all-time high. EOS, Neon. You can just go down the list, guys. Only 20 of all of the top 100, only 20 made a new all-time high. And in the top 25, right, only 5 made a new all-time high in the last bull run. Now, why is that the case? Well, here's one reason. Token unlocks and inflation. See, when most tokens has continual inflation, well, in a bull market, that's fine. It gets gobbled up in no time because there's a whole lot of demand. But they are going to continue dumping almost all projects on the market throughout the years. Well, when the bear market hits and no one is stacking, they still have to dump to keep the ecosystem and pay their developers, etc., etc. So no ifs and buts about it, guys. When this bull run is over, outside of Bitcoin, every single altcoin will crash, period. It won't even be close to not crashing. I would say the very best, maybe projects that are exceptional, like say Ethereum or Quant or something like that with really good tokenomics, might not correct more than 50%. But most of them are going to go down 85, 95%, and the majority of them probably are not going to come back and make a new all-time high ever again. So that's because of tokenomics. Now here's the big understanding, and stay with me guys, this is really going to help you. You know, I'm not going to get into how they launch these tokens because there's a lot of different ways. ICOs, airdrops, you know, they just go ahead and print them and then they divide them out to the foundations. There's a lot of different ways. But no matter what, that initial supply is for the early investors and the foundation and the developers and the team, etc., etc. So once it launches, then you figure out, you know, what the price is going to be, what that project is going to be worth. Well, because of the hype of such a new asset class, they always explode. If they have any marketing, any substance at all, they're going to explode. But here's the thing, guys, and you can believe this or not, but if you really had an understanding, I think we would agree, is once they explode, they have to justify that valuation on the preceding bull run. See, the first one, you don't have to prove anything. I'll use Kaspa. Love Kaspa. I own Kaspa. So, and Kaspa was a great launch, one of the most fair projects out there. That being said, as it gets into the billions of dollars, well, it's going to have to justify that in the preceding bull run, not this bull run. So you get a free pass in the first one, right? So it's just like an IPO. Here's what happens on Wall Street, and this is exactly what you see in crypto, no matter how it's launched. When in an IPO on the stock market, they take a company, they give the founders, the owners, their amount of shares, they create the shares, they give those to them, then the company like a JP Morgan, I used to work for Bear Stearns, we took our allocation and we got to keep some for our profit, right? And then we spread another amount of tokens out to our investors pre-launch, right? Before they ring that bell on the stock exchange. Well, then when it goes live, the average retail public can buy it. And that's how most people buy their crypto. Well, that's exactly what they do in the stock market. Well, 99.9% of the time, that stock takes off to the moon. Let's say it launches at $15. Well, the people that created that company, you know, their stock starts at probably $1. And then they locked in like $10 for, say, JP Morgan and their customers. So they've already done a 3 or 4x when it launches and goes straight to $40. Well, then the public decides how much value that company has. And maybe it goes to, say, $75. Well, then they got to start reporting their growth and their earnings. And if they miss those numbers, which most do, they crash. So it goes from 75 back to 40, which the early investors are out. Some of the founders do keep their allotment. And then maybe it drops to, say, $25, and it sits there forever. And maybe it ends up being a 25-year company, but it never, ever hits a new all-time high. It's very rare that you get an Amazon or a Microsoft or something like that that comes out and, you know, goes to the moon. But even Amazon, guys, Amazon launched, and like in its first year, it took 10 years to take out its all-time high from when it was first launched. So the point about that is, in crypto, most of these projects, I mean like 98% of all these projects are going to disappear. They don't make a profit. And the ones that might have real good applications, they're going to have to kick ass to basically justify, you know, their $20 billion market cap. And they've got to just kill it, if that makes any sense. So once the public realizes that these tokens can't do what the initial hype was all about, they're going to die and disappear. So that's why you don't want to HODL, in my opinion. It's extremely risky. So we got regulation risk, we got hype risk, right? The narrative, we all know about the narrative. If the narrative goes away, that token won't hit a new all-time high. But the biggest risk outside of regulation is the new technologies. The bull run preceding this one, who knows what that's going to be all about? It may be a real utility bull run. So anyway, guys, I know I'm rambling, but let me know what you think in the comments section. But the point about this is, guys, if you don't take profits, you're going to become the prophets. And if the majority were rich, if the majority were right, the majority would be rich. And most people, guys, most influencers don't tell you this type of information. They tell you what you want to hear. And then when this bull run is over and you're going to wonder why you didn't even start taking profits because you're a hodler. And you thought whatever your favorite project is, it's going to just moon. And in 10 years, have you noticed how the influencers that used to call a lot of, and I'm not going to name any projects, you probably know which one I'm talking about, but there's many if you watch his channel. But they don't tell you that it's going to do it in this bull run. Now they're starting to go out to 2030. Well, I got news for you guys. If a project skips a bull run and doesn't make an all-time high, 99% of those will never make another all-time high. It's game over. So that's something to consider. So don't let the world tell you that, you're going to be Lambo in 2025 and 2030 if it's an older project and it didn't hit an all-time high and this is its third bull run, in my opinion. There might be a few exceptions. I'll give you an example. I looked at Tron, and I didn't realize Tron was that old. But if you look at the max, it didn't make a new all-time high in the last bull run. I don't know why that's not popping up. It didn't hit, oh, that is it. It didn't hit an all-time high in the last bull run, but guys, look, it came really, really close. But now it's already testing its all-time high the last bull run. So my educated guess is that Tron will be one of the exceptions. But guys, I play probabilities, right? The number one rule is in investing is don't lose money. Crypto is risky enough. You got to take profits. That being said, guys, I do one-on-one coaching if you need some help and have a better understanding of how and when to take profits, how to dollar cost average in and out, how to build a portfolio, how to compare projects, and how to play the probabilities. If you need some help with that, it's only $250 for 3 phone calls or Zoom calls, and hopefully we'll get you a game plan. But whether you take me up on that or not, do yourself a favor. In my opinion, it's not financial advice. It's your money. Full accountability is on you. Take your profits and get a game plan and stick to it. And make sure that game plan has merit. I'll give you an example of one game plan that doesn't, in my opinion. A lot of people are like, oh, I'm not going to take profits until my favorite project hits a new all-time high. Well, go ask the XRP Army, go ask XLM, go ask Uniswap, go ask all those holders how that worked out in the last bull run. Because the odds are, guys, these projects are not going to make a new all-time high, just like the last bull run. So if you look at the top 100 projects, the odds are of 2021, if it looks like last year or the preceding bull run, that means probably 20 or 25 are going to make a new all-time high. But my guess is it's going to be more like, say, 15. And why is that? Every bull market, we get more and more competition for the market. Think about it, guys. I don't know if you know this, but like in 2017 and 18, there wasn't even 100 really great projects that could change the world, that had real world utility. And in 2021, there still probably wasn't 100 straight up legit projects that are going to change the future. Well, now, guys, there's thousands of legit projects that might change the future. They're all not going to win, because even though they may be legit, like let's say a Kaspa, love Kaspa, the technology is great, but is that going to outdo Ethereum that has Wall Street behind it, or HBAR that has Wall Street behind it? I don't know, but I personally would not take that bet. I want to take probabilities. Now, no matter what, I'll give you a hint of what I'm going to do as far as taking profits. Guys, once you get a 2 or 3x, take your initial investment out, because no matter what, no matter how good or bad the bull run is, if you've taken your initial investment out, you can't lose money. Take it out and move on. Save it for the bear market and start over, and maybe let those other ones ride. Anyway, that's just part of my strategy. If you need some help, I'll leave a link down below. That's all I got. Hopefully this video helped you guys get a game plan. And hit that like button, share with like-minded people, and come back and be part of this community. Take care, guys.